Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we are building a new N-scale kit that is a truck service facility. You can order this kit on my website at jasonjensentrains.com. All right, well, this is a pretty big build, so let's get to it. Okay, so here are all the parts for the kit. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray both sides of all of these with a gray primer. Well, as you can see, everything has a gray primer on it. Now let's set these to the side. And the first thing we're going to do is cut out the pieces from this sheet and build this structure. For now, we can leave these pieces in there. Okay, so we have our front wall, our side wall, our other side wall, and our back wall. Okay, I'll glue these together and then show you how they go. First, I want to take a file and just clean up the edge if there's like any little nubs on it. Now you're going to want to use something square to make sure that it's a 90-degree angle. Okay, now we'll take the back wall. Okay, after these were dried, what I did was I put a bead of glue and then lightly smeared it with my finger to fill in any cracks. Same on this one. Now we can glue these two together. Now again, now that I've got these glued together, I can just do a thin bead of glue and just fill in those little cracks. You can let it dry and then always go back over it again. Okay, so let me go over this quick with you. That's the front. Then, very important, that side, the window is at the bottom and those holes are at the top. You have your back wall. And then you have your side wall, and it has a notch at the top and a notch at the bottom. Okay, next let's cut out our two big garage doors that go to this. And we're going to cut out these two big windows here. These right here. Then we're going to cut out these two long, thin windows. Okay, so we have our two big doors, the two big windows, and these two thin windows. We're going to take these and this, and we're going to spray these with a teal color. Here is the teal color I used. Okay, let's go back to this. And you know, now that I see this teal, I really like it. And I think I want to put a teal stripe around the bottom. We'll just make it easy and make it 1/2 inch. So I'm just putting little marks 1/2 inch up from the bottom. And then we're going to mask off the top and spray the bottom with the teal color. Okay, I just taped the inside so it's sticky. Hopefully that makes sense. It's not too hard to do. I'm going to now mask off that teal and spray the top with an off-white. Okay, I sprayed it and I used this. Okay, I am loving the way that this looks. I'm going to give this a little bit longer to dry. It's a little bit tacky. Okay, I actually took the hair dryer and dried this really good. Now I'm going to take a paint called Castle. And it's a chalk paint. Now I want to make it look like some of the paint is chipping off and you can see the concrete showing through. Now I'm sponging this a lot over here because I'm trying to get most of the paint off. I want very fine dots. And I'm focusing around the edges and across the bottom. I'm not sure if that's going to show up good, but it's very subtle. Next, we'll move on to our doors and windows for this piece. So we'll use our sponge and add a little bit of rust to these doors and just a little bit maybe on the windows. So we're taking bittersweet chocolate. Okay, I'm taking a reddish brown color. Probably like burnt sienna. And then I'm adding quite a bit of water to it. Then we'll take this yellow-orange color. It's kind of like an ochre. I'm mixing it with that reddish-brown color. Okay, I think that's good. I don't want to put too much on it. Okay, we have a piece of acetate. We're going to lay that down. I just put some super glue on here. We're going to take our window leave some space in between the windows. I'll show you this quick. It doesn't take much glue, so you don't need to cover the entire back of the window. I just try to get like at least the 4 corners. Now on these, I'm going to cut thin pieces that just go across that back. because I'm going to bend these. I'll show you. Because the lines are engraved, it's pretty easy. So that door will be put in there like that. So it'll look like it's partially opened. I'll show you as soon as I get this cut and glued on there. Do you see how it sticks off on the sides? Like it's longer. I made it longer than the door. That way we have something to glue it to. This door will be all the way down, but we'll do the same. We'll make it longer so that we can glue it to the inside of the building. Okay, I'm going to take this sheet here and I'm cutting off the logo, the sign that goes up on the roof, and this big window. That's the sunroof that goes up on top of the roof above here. In the rest of this, I'm going to paint with white, an off-white. Okay, so again, I just cut out those two. I just sprayed the vent and the vent cover with the reddish brown primer. And that goes right there. I'll glue that in quick. Okay, as you can see, I spray painted all of my doors and windows the white color that we used on this. I also painted this piece all white. And then all of the other pieces got painted the teal color. And on most of these, I had to do both sides. So the only thing that's not painted yet are the roof cards, and then all of these pieces. And these make up the foundation that goes next to it. Let's do that next. Okay, so make sure you file any little nubs off there, even on the ends. Now there's 3 little pieces, and I'll show you. They get stacked if you want to. There's a wood staircase, or you can make it concrete, and this is for the back door. So you can stack these. And we haven't built it yet, but it goes in the back. So it can either be concrete or the wood staircase. Okay, so we're going to take this little piece and that gets glued in the back. Okay, and you do want to make sure that that's square. That's a 90-degree angle and that it's flat. Okay, then you have 3 pieces that look like that have these little tabs on the end. Okay, so you have a really long one that goes in the back, and then you have these 2. You're going to take the longer one, and it gets glued in this notch right here. Just like that. Now either use the lines on your grid or take your block. Okay, let's let that sit for just a little while and let that dry. Actually, while that's drying, we'll take these two pieces and glue them together, and we'll put this in the corner till it dries. Now it goes over here, so you want to make sure you glue it in that corner. Okay, we'll let those two things dry for a little bit and then we'll glue them together, and I'll show you up close on the camera. Okay, while we're waiting for that to dry, we're going to paint this piece. And I'm just using that Castle color. And it doesn't even have to be solid. You can leave some of the gray primer showing through if you want. We just want this to look like concrete. It certainly doesn't have to be this Castle color. Whatever color you normally paint your concrete, that's what you should use. Okay, and then I glued the steps together. So we'll just quick paint that. Okay, so we have that piece glued on and the piece in the back. Then we glued these two together. And we'll glue them to those pieces. It's a little fragile right now. Once we get the structures sitting on there, it'll stiffen it up. But that's what it should look like. And if you want to take the Castle color or your concrete color, you can either brush it or use a sponge and paint that foundation to look like concrete. I might wait until after the structure's on there so that it's not so fragile, because I don't want to accidentally break it off. Okay, let's set this aside. Now let's work on our walls. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is glue on all of the window frames. And I'll show you. I did 2 here. And then we paint the inside of that window frame white to match. And I'm just using light buttermilk. So I have some glue on my palette and a thin brush, and just applying a little bit of glue to the back of the window frame. And then after I get these all glued on, even the door frame, and everything is dry, I'll paint the inside edge of all those doors and windows, because we don't want that raw wood showing. Okay, the window frames and door frames are all done. And I painted the inside of them, even this thin one. You can see I did the doors. Now we have to glue acetate to the back of all these windows and put those in. And remember, cut your acetate bigger than the window. That way you can glue it from the back side and it won't fall through. I mean, if you want, you could glue in, say, those 2 windows and cut a rectangle piece of acetate and glue it to the back of the wall. Okay, the windows are all glued in. I glued acetate onto the back of the walls. Now let's start to put our walls together. We'll start with the front wall. There's a notch right there that it fits in. And then it sits right on top of this foundation. Okay, now we'll glue on the side wall right here, which is this wall. There's no corner trim. I decided to have the walls just butt right up against each other, so I didn't use corner trim on this kit. And we'll go in with some paint, and after everything dries, and we have to paint the edge of the walls to match that teal color. Okay, now let's do this wall. And there's a notch right there in the back, and it sits in there just like that. Now let's put glue on the edge of these walls here. This one and this one. And then we'll put glue on the bottom of the back wall. Okay, then we have this wall here. Make sure that you glue it in right side up. Now you can see the edge of the wood. We're going to paint that. And I think the closest thing I have is Desert Turquoise. Now we can paint our foundation. Okay, now I'm going to take the roof card sheet and I'm going to spray the back of it with the teal color. That way the overhang will be the teal color. And we'll cover the top of it with tar paper. Okay, I sprayed the back side. Now we'll cut all these out. I was going to tell you on this piece here or any other scrap, you could take a long piece and glue it on the inside behind the doors, especially maybe at the bottom, just to help support it if you wanted to. And remember, the teal side goes down. We want the overhang to be the teal color. And what we're going to want to do is take our Desert Turquoise and paint the edges. Okay, for this roof card, it has a sunroof. So this piece right here gets glued on top just like that. But first what we want to do is cut a piece of acetate that is that shape. Now that acetate gets glued to the back of this piece. This gets glued on top of this. Now this piece gets glued on top of there. Now we'll glue it on the structure. Now we'll glue this one. It goes right there. Okay, this is what it looks like so far. Now let's put in the supports for this. They're really small. And there's 4 of them. And there's holes right in the front that they fit in. I'll glue a couple in and then I'll show it to you. Just dip it in the glue that's on the palette and then put it in place. Okay, one more. Where is it? Right here. Okay, let's go ahead and do the side structure here. Okay, so we're going to take this piece right here and we're going to glue in our 4 supports. I don't know if I made those holes big enough. Okay, let's try this again. You might have to poke something in those holes to make them slightly bigger. You want to go really slow when putting those in because you don't want to snap them or bend them. So you'll see at the bottom, those are flush. So you just push those in. So set it down flat and push those in so that they're all flush. Okay, now we're going to take our brush and put glue on the end of these. Then they go in these holes. Just to be safe, I am going to make them a little bit bigger. So just start at one end and slowly work your way down. And that one gets put on there like that. Okay, I just glued the concrete steps on the back. Again, if you want those to be wood, there are wood ones in the kit. Okay, now let's take care of this deck that's in the front. The first thing is this piece right here. That gets glued right there. All the way in that corner. Now we have 2 little squares. And those squares get glued on each end of that. I'll glue them in place and show you. Okay, now we have these 2 pieces that get glued together on top of each other. So when they're glued together, it looks like that. Then that gets glued in the front there. Now there's steps that get glued in place. Here are the side pieces. And then we have the individual steps. We'll have to cut these apart, but there's all the steps. And then we have railings that go up on the side of the step. All right, let me get this glued together and I'll show it to you. Okay, the stairs are done. The deck's on. You know, I kind of got in a hurry and I should have sponged on a gray color or iced coffee is a good raw wood color, and I should have sponged some on to make it look like the paint was chipping a little bit here and there. I might do just a little bit of dry brushing here and there with the iced coffee, especially on the door in the front there, maybe this door. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing on the corners and doors and windows, and then we'll get our black tar paper on the roof and get our sign put together and put on the roof. Okay, so I just did some dry brushing with the color iced coffee just to give it a worn and peeled paint look. Not sure if it's showing up, but I did the windows and a little bit towards the bottom, even did up here. Okay, so here it is, all finished. The tar paper roof is on. You may have noticed there was lines on this roof card. You can make that look like a copper roof if you'd like. I decided just to put tar paper on it. As you can see, we've got some details. I wanted to quick give you a close-up on the sign. So before you paint these detail parts, clean them up, maybe sand the bottom of them a little bit so they're nice and flat, and then spray a gray primer on them. And then just simply paint them the colors you want. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Now, if you'd like to purchase this kit, you can go to jasonjensentrains.com. And if you are a Patreon member, you receive a discount. And to receive the discount code, go to patreon.com/JasonJensenTrains. And I'll put it here on the screen for you. All right, well, like always, a huge, huge thank you to all of my Patreon members. Incredible. Your support means so much to me. And I love hearing from all of you on my Patreon page. I post new pictures every single day on Patreon. And it's pictures of the layout, pictures I'm working on. And a lot of these great people comment on those photos, and I completely appreciate it. All right, well, thank you all so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And until next time, stay motivated and happy modeling, everyone.